Hello there, guys. I'm in. The alarms have just been going off, which is doing my nutting. I decided to carry on live tonight because I've got a lot to get out, and it's been a bit crazy. So if you're just catching in, I'll just give you a chance to come in before I waffle on. So yeah. So if you're just catching in, I'm back. I'm upstairs. I think I've done 2 lives. So the first live, I basically explained that today I have cried, and just got to the end of my tether with absolutely everything that's going on now, where I live, what's going on in Lundin, what my son's going through, the fact that I can't intervene on the situation, my mum, my dad, my family, my friends, dealing with my own submission and my own paperwork. And here we go, more alarms going off. I live near a naval base, guys, I'm warning you. Can you hear it? You might hear my fan actually, because it's on live, so you might not be able to hear it. But my alarms here has just gone off, and now the main hooter is gone off. So, and it's like fucking 1 o'clock. Seriously, like for somebody who, they are the ones that have diagnosed me with Asperger's. I haven't diagnosed myself with Asperger's. I have an actual clinical diagnosis for Asperger's, and they know for somebody who's Asperger's, I need, and this is Kelly telling you I need, peace and fucking quiet, mate. Like serious fucking peace and quiet. I don't want to hear a fucking pin drop. I just want to get out of my head and sit and write in peace and fucking quiet with the laughter of my boys running around, creating the vision of Aaron and Faith in the garden, watching Liam chopping some wood and preparing some stuff with Dean, seeing Daniel with his tractors and his farm stuff, preparing the land, ready to put all the fruit veg in and all that sort of stuff, and all the trees. And I just want to write. Can you hear it? Seriously, somebody tell me you can hear it. I have a headache. Like, seriously, I have a headache. If it's not the sound of the cars, if it's not the bang, 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 and if you followed me, you will see bits of this that go on as I'm on live. And I'm in a 1 bed, so I don't even have a bedroom. I can't even go and just lay down on my bed and read a book and sit and chill out in my bed. I can't just have Dean crawl in with me and come home and just lay in the bed with me. I can't just sit in my bed and watch TV or anything like that. I am in a 1 bedroom. I have 2 little boys who kick me in the head, run on in, jump all over me, climb all over me, wake me up, jumping over on me, waking up to the drills, the sounds, and literally where I live as well. As you come out of my front door, over in the corner is what's called a Roberts Centre. It means that I have a different family there every 26 weeks. Some people make it, some people don't. I have had children taken by social services where they haven't actually been taken by social services. I guard that door now. Roberts Centre know it. Portsmouth Council City know it. A very dear friend of mine who was in there, and I will say she was a very dear friend of mine. She was a nurse who had ended up with a bit of a coke problem from going out a bit partying. Ended up in community with drug, because of drug rehabilitation as a overdid coke user, and then gets put into a Roberts Centre because obviously coke costs lots of money. She's caused a lot of debt. She lost her job. Blah 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 blah. So they put her in a Roberts Centre. My boys have to cope with this as well. And they're very lovely boys. When we're out in the car and we go and sleep in the car, and because I just get the fuck out of here on payday and just put 20 quid in my car and go as far as I can and just sleep in the car for 2 days. And we just run around in the woodlands. You know, sometimes Dean comes with us, sometimes we go to London and pick him up. And we just get out of there. You know, we're such a different family. We're so peaceful and we're so calm. And, you know, we talk about everything that's been going on and we catch up with what Dean's been doing. And because Dean is sleeping on the fucking streets. So when I saw that man today, and that man just looked at me, and as I had already said, he could sleep in my car. In fact, he was actually completely fucking grateful and humble. He wasn't interested in trying to get into my knickers. He wasn't interested in trying to chat me up. He wasn't interested in trying to fuck me over. Show you where it's coming from. This is a council office. Portsmouth Council, sort your fucking shit out. So, when I issue complaints again and you tell me this shit isn't happening, it's fucking live now. All the lights are on, all the blocks, everybody's up, everybody's awake. And then they wonder why everybody's grumpy and grouchy the next day and having to go across there to the council office to pay our rent and our service charges. Our service charges. Do you know how much we pay for fucking service charges? £17 a week. We're paying £17 on top of our rent, so we have to pay our rent. So this isn't even actually included in housing benefit, because housing benefit, this all comes into your rent, okay? So if you don't pay these things, then you are in arrears with your rent. This is how they've got me trapped. They have me in 1 month's arrears rent, and I'm not in month's arrears rent, is how their system works. So I'm fucked. Every time a private rental contacts them, I'm classed as in arrears. No one will fucking touch me. I can't get these guys to give me a fucking reference. I am fucked. I am stuck here. They've knocked 3 houses off of me already. They've suspended my benefits nearly 8 fucking times. In fact, it's more than that. And now, if I go to the job centre, right, here in Portsmouth, do you know what they do to me? Would you like to know what Portsmouth Job Centre do to a mother with 2 children who have EDS and who's also actually legally diagnosed with autism, legally diagnosed as borderline personality, legally diagnosed with narcissistic traits, legally diagnosed as being a sexual abuse trauma victim with complex trauma for DV, for multiple rapes, for the lifestyle that I've had to live to survive through certain chapters of my life, because I have taken myself from literally walking out of foster care at 16 and 1 week. Yes, my mum, I know who my mum is. My mum has never been emotionally available. I've got nearly 14 psychological reports that will tell you that. My dad, wet wuss and a fucking wimp, who chose, you know, his new wife and his 2 children over me and my brother. My brother is from another child, and we don't actually exist. Even my mum tells people that she's got 2 children when actually she's got 3. So we are the, as my friend said today, I'm not the black sheep of my family. I'm the psychedelic. I don't take psychedelic drugs though, but I will do, especially now it's all going to be legal. I certainly won't do ayahuasca. I've wanted to do ayahuasca for a very, very, very long time. I would love to actually go over. I love, what's his name, that guy who goes over to the Amazon and stuff like that and things like that. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to. But one of the things is when you've got children, you have to make sure you've got a good 4 or 5 days. And this is where I have always struggled. because of my own attachment disorder, and I do have an attachment disorder. I do have rejection issues. I do have trust issues. It does make me a narcissist, and if you want to troll and batter us and kill us and tell people that this is how you deal with them because we got a few trust issues, and we might ask a couple of questions because we need a little bit of peace of mind. And if you lie to somebody like us, we're like fucking MI5 agents, mate. We won't bother wasting our time, but we will run through here quickly. And if the dots don't connect and we know you're lying, we're out of there. And we don't tolerate bullshit. Not a lot of people like to work with me. Radio One Big Weekend didn't like working with me, but they had to because I was unity in the community. I represented Joe Medforth, represented the university in Preston. They had no choice. They were on my home turf. They had to work with me, just the same as Cash for Kids with Rock FM. Not a lot of people like to work with me, and the reason that not a lot of people like to actually officially work with me is because, one, I'm damn good at what I do, and I see through your shit immediately. You can lie to me until kingdoms come, but don't take my silence for weakness. I'm sussing you out, I'm working you out, I'm analysing you, I am strategizing, and I'm making the decision, and I will let my kids make decisions too. Anybody ever wants to have a go at me over David Jenkins, I would ask you to ask Elijah and Shiloh that, So, I have very great intuition, I have very great awareness, and the problem with somebody like me is if you try to groom a child in front of somebody like me, I'll snap your fucking fingers, ram your fingers up your ass, stick my knee right in front of your fucking groin, grab your head, ram it into the side, and I'll stick your head full of war. And I'm quite happy to do this. I do this with great conviction. If I physically actually see, and I've been in situations where things have gone on in front of me where I have done exactly this. The police know it. The social know it. Flintshire fucked up. Flintshire fucked up massively. They didn't know what they were dealing with, or completely the opposite way. And what happened to me and my children was a complete and utter set up by Success Resources, who just happened to have Cheryl Osborne on the guest list. As soon as I have access to this on freedom of request, that Cheryl Osborne was at the National Achievers Congress and the UPW as a guest invited, and she paid her ticket. Well, this is what I want to find out. Did she not pay for her ticket? Why was she there? Why did conveniently the social worker who took my children happened to be at the National Achievers Congress and UPW? Was my auntie involved? I wasn't the person who found Save the Family. My auntie was. My auntie is a pagan witch. My auntie likes to stab the side a lot. My auntie came in on the very final last day to have my children wearing an alcohol top from a pub. Yes, she works in a pub, that's fine. I'm not saying anything. My auntie has made accusations that my granddad used to make her give her blowjobs. My mum has told me that my granddad has confessed to this on his dying bed, and I'm not allowed to talk about it. Gag this, I'll talk about it. You guys fucked with my head. My mum played with me by deliberately taking me to my granddad's to prove that he didn't do what he does. I'm not saying whether he did or he didn't. I'm saying it was a very Russian roulette game to play, wasn't it, Sharon Hill-Sharmwood, who is actually watching this live, and has gone round to my family in 2007 to make sure that I couldn't publish my book. I have been on the banes of my fucking ass ever since, because my book was ready to be published. It was going out in 2007. My mum went and met with my dad, who she hadn't had a conversation with in over, since the day they separated when I was 3. Oh, they did at my wedding. They met at my wedding. They weren't at my second wedding. Neither of my parents were at my second wedding. My dad has never given me away. In fact, at my first wedding, my dad kept telling me not to do it, and my mum signed Donald Duck on the registration forms. So I don't know if that makes me legally married or not. Your mum signing Donald Duck, and she actually did. She signed Donald Duck. But anyway, she went and spoke to my family, and she told me over 3 times that she was getting an injunction on my book. I burnt my book. My ex-partner at the time, Stephen, Aaron and Faith's dad, also didn't want content of my book being out because he didn't want to be the person in the pub with people goading and laughing and saying, oh, she was a right whore, or he didn't want to worry about any photographs that might come out about me or videos that could come out at some point. And you know, I was an escort. I admitted it on the first ever 6 videos that I ever did. I have nothing to hide. It was never used against me to take my kids. It was used in the adoption forms, but it wasn't used in the court paperwork. In fact, if you actually read what they wrote in the court paperwork to take my children, and then what they wrote to, advertise my child for potential adoptions. Wow, I was an entrepreneur. I was high class. I was all of these things. I was amazing. I was total stockbrokers, groomed children that are going to be very multi-talented, very gifted. And of course, why would they not be? They're from me. They're my blood. Same as, you know, you've got me and Dean together, for fuck's sake. Can you imagine Elijah and Shiloh with me and Dean? We are very naturally gifted people. They don't like people like me. We can't be groomed by dance academies. We can't be groomed by the music industry. You know, I've already said on a previous live, Dean will come out about this stuff. One day he will like me, Snap, and people will, other people as well, will eventually have the balls, like the guy sleeping in my car tonight. He might actually sit with me tomorrow and say, look, do you mind if I tell my story? He might even say to me, do you mind coming to the council with me? I won't mind doing this. I love telling these people what they're doing is inhumane, uncompassionate, robotic and wrong. And I thought that, you know, we were fighting against having robots taken over, and they've already become. The first ever article that I ever wrote, not the first ever, I've been published many times. You know, I've been published since I was a kid. Do you know what I mean? I used to write for Woman and Woman's Own, T-Mags, things like that. I've been published in books. I've been published in stories, Daybreak, BBC, Northwest Tonight, ITV. I've done radio, community radio, blah 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 blah. It's about getting a message out in it. So at the end of the day, my son's coming through and he's going through some stuff, so I just want to obviously also let him know. It's not even about having a public life, is it? It's about talking to, it's no different than me standing in a conference or do you want me to close the door? I've got my jeans, right? It's like a Chinese laundry room here in a 1-bedroom flat. Seriously, if I hadn't been so privileged to live in many beautiful homes, I probably would be more grateful than I probably should be. But if you get complacent with things, if you soften it down, then you don't ever move on. And actually, the way to move on is to get truly fucking disgusted with your current situation. And I had enough, because actually prior to Liam coming, I was already packed up. It was Liam that made the decision to go and get a job and decide to stay here. So I've just been holding the fort for him to grow and nurture here. But it really, I'm seriously, right, if you try living with me, I am hard work. When I wake up in the morning, I like to wake up to a straight, clean thing. So actually already an hour ago, Monday morning motivation kicked off on my crack book. So if you're in my Monday morning motivation with Kelly, then I'm way behind, because I like to wake up in the morning to no pots on the side. No, see, seriously, like, look, I waste so much time on this shit when I've always had a cleaner. Seriously, what is it with maybe £10 an hour to pay somebody else to do this stuff for a day for you, when it will free you up to make millions? So it's worth it, do you know what I mean? So already, and what annoys me, right, is that fucking Hoover drives me nuts, because it pops in, pops out, pops in, pops out. I got it off Marketplace for like 30 quid, I think it was. Washing to go in. The Caduve is back in here, that's got to come out, because it's been weed on, it's been cornflake on, it's been peanut buttered on, And that's just today, because I will put it on and it will happen again tomorrow. I have pots on the side. Now, now Liam's here, so I can do this now. But this has got to go downstairs in the dryer. Do you know how much? Do you know how much this cost me here? This is one dry token. £1.50. It won't do that. But one of the challenges is you've got to get it to downstairs. And I had this exact problem with Aaron and Faith that I had to get across, and that's what caused for my children to be taken. So I'm living in a situation right now where, damn, even having roller boots on, I can be told off, for fuck's sake. You know, it's like, oops, upside the head for this, oops, upside the head for that, oops. Oh, yeah, you want to see the flat right now. Seriously. In fact, I haven't had to show you. If you were here the other day when I was trying to find a Rizzler paper, and I felt the need to start cleaning out my drawers and taking my I'm not smoking right now out on my cleaning, and decided to completely defrag. And then, of course, Shiloh woke up, and then we decided to do, well, some painting, sort of. If you were here for that, you didn't get to see the end result, did you? So these are Shiloh's. So this is Shiloh's. So Shiloh did these. Okay, so these are Shiloh's. Now, I don't like what I've done because it sort of got a bit carried away, right? And as you know, on the live, my entire floor was covered in every single paint. So we sort of got a bit carried away. But I did manage to rescue Dad's picture because, as you know, Shiloh painted all over it. So I have managed to clean Dad's picture up. I have managed to get it all off the sides there. But obviously they started to paint things, so I've managed to sort of turn it into something. We don't quite like it, but somebody might like it, and it was a bit of a test, but we can paint over it, it's fine. So, hang on a minute, I'm going to fall. It's only because I've got roller skates on. If I didn't have roller skates on, it wouldn't be a problem. So, I'm moving right there. Are you ready for this? It did start out all right, okay, and then the kids decided to get on a bit of a chair and just go. So, and then I decided to get the paints and put it on that board that's behind me and just push it and see what happened. And it did originally look really nice. But then Shiloh decided that he was just going to get a bit of a brush and go at the top of it. So it sort of turned into something else. And then I was moved the chair down. But the good thing is I managed to rescue, because Dad's going to take that door down and I'll probably stick that somewhere. I don't know, probably outside fucking Buckingham Palace or something. So behind this door, I sort of got a bit carried away. And I don't know what you can see, but I can't see it. I started to do something, and then, oh, seriously, I need like larders and cupboards. That is all paperwork. That's all art in there. That's all paint. And I've run out of paints now. All my paints are dead. Everything. The kids, seriously, because quite everything. My paintbrushes are knackered. And then on this side, it did start okay. And what we basically did was took this and printed it up, and it sort of started working. But then we decided to just run over it with a paintbrush, and it went a bit crazy. But the good thing is I don't have a glue for. I managed to get it all off. And I was going to take a photograph of Shiloh, right? Because after 2 baths, if social services had turned up at my house and my son was running around naked, they would have thought I'd absolutely battered him, because all on his bum here, along here, and around this side, and then here, looked like he'd been all bruised. And then he had bits up his arms here, and bits up his arms here, and then he had a bit here where he'd gone like this, and it looked like a throat grab around this thing, and it was all blue. And if I'd taken a photograph of him, or if anyone had seen him, and my son had been whisked off to the hospital because this boy was absolutely battered and bruised and blue, they would have found out that it was blue paint that just wouldn't have come off slightly. It took the third wash, and what I actually did was let them go over to the park in their shorts, rough around in the sand and the fountains and stuff that's over there, and then come and give him a bath. And finally, he was relieved from the Smurf blue paint. However, like I said, if somebody had heard my son screaming in the bath as I had the shower over the top of him, rushing in and trying to get it down, and they'd been banging the police, and my son had ran around naked, and they'd seen him, their automatic picture perfect social services snapshot that they do would have seen a battered child covered in bruises from their perspective, and from mine I would have been laughing and giggling because I've just had two children covered in paint and bathing them. From their perspective, they're hearing children screaming and shouting and looking at child, seeing blue bottom and back and arms. My perspective of the mother is going from, whoa, hang on a minute, I've just been showering my child and now I've got police and social, and they're saying that my son's battered, and I'm trying to explain to them it's paint. And unless I bring them in here and show them the paint, but already cleaned up and stuff, because children don't come into, say, said kitchen after a bath. Now, actually, it wasn't cleaned up, but hypothetically it was, so no evidence and no proof of this painting, or not willing to listen, because you don't get that chance to listen. And then when you go to court, you're trying to explain to this person sitting in front of you that you've never met and never associated with, you don't know, they don't know you, and all they've got is this genealogy, and this genealogy will say your name, your date of birth, and then it will just have a record of any time that the police have been involved with you. So, and the way they write it as well, it's really shit, right? So assault and battery, if assault and battery is on there, that's anything from to do you know what I mean? And so a judge is just reading, and he might have had somebody who's just come in with assault and they're reading that, or he might have had somebody who's just broken a fingernail, but either way it reads the same. So you're fucked. And then it's got any social services previous times with you. And what's the problem is to have had social services in your life is seen as a negative. So their own social services seen as a negative. It's not seen that actually you're a family that have fallen below and fell and worked with them and stuff. And it's a bit bad. Because the perception is that everybody that goes through social services must have been drug dependent, alcoholic, homeless, or child abuser, because that's everybody's perception. But what about the mum who husband works and goes out at 7 o'clock in the morning, but she's got to get the kids up for 9 o'clock, but she's got either one leg or one arm, or she's autistic, or she's got Ehlers-Danlos syndrome like me, and maybe she has an indicative budget and support by adult social services or children's social services to pick the kids up to make sure they're dropped off at school because she's got epilepsy and she can't drive, and dad's too early to drop the kids off at school. Or Mr. Jones down the road, who's just had his balls cut off because he's got prostate cancer, and he really struggles going out in the community and stuff and explaining to people, who has a radar key that he had to access through social care and social services. Or, you know, little Peter Jones, who's in school, his father was killed out in Afghanistan, and he has some trauma at school, and he has a counsellor from CAMS and things like that, and they have some, child protection meetings because he's a harm to himself and others, because he's fighting and challenging, and the parents are working, with social services and psychiatrists to get as much help for him as possible. These are the stories that people miss. These are the things that. Is my YouTube going off from the previous video? These are things that people don't see. They don't see that somebody who's gone through a rape, who has agoraphobia, not agoraphobia, who's agoraphobic and nervous of the world and can't come out, that might need a little bit of victim support and women's aids and stuff to maybe go and help them get out and about the community, shopping and stuff like that. People don't see the man who's sleeping in my car right now because he's got challenges, because he has no, because he's already got a tenancy and he's off tenancy and all this sort of stuff, and you don't get back into the system and all these things, and there's a gap for men because the man not only has to go to work to put the roof over the mother's head and the children's head and pay maintenance and alimony, he's also got to pay for a roof over his own head and start from scratch, because it's probably taken 19 years, 18 years to build all of that, so now he's got to also keep it going and also go and provide for himself. And then when he's got the kids, pay for the children as well, when he's already given her the money for the kids, so he actually hasn't got the money. So, and then he's got these women having a go at him because actually he doesn't have a home to go to, and he doesn't have the car that she's got, and he doesn't have the money to give to her because he's having to go to work and give his mate or his brother 20-30 quid, 40-50 quid a week, because he's sleeping on his sofa and eating his food, and they're wondering where the money's going. Or she's pissed off because she's sitting in with the kids on Saturday night and he's gone out with his brother to drain his sorrows and cry his heart out and watch for his pictures of his family. And for me as well, some of you won't realise that I've got your exes on here, and that would be considered a conflict. If I was a solicitor, that couldn't happen. If I was a barrister, that couldn't happen. If I was a social worker, that couldn't happen. If I was any provider, that can't happen. Straight away, mother and father, whether married or not, are divided because there's a conflict of interest immediately. Some say deliberately, some say not, some say not. It depends how you're looking at this. But like I said, you've got a child who's just got out of the bath, screaming his head off, knocking on the door from police and social services because people have reported this stressed out mother who's been shouting and screaming, and the kids are screaming in the bath, and all of a sudden the police come booting through the door and there's a child stood there, blue as a battered child, and from their perspective they're seeing this. But I know the understory and everything, and I know me, and I know what I'm capable of. But you've got to deal with a police officer and a social worker telling you that that's it, you're being restrained. You're not being restrained to be arrested. This is the funny thing. The child is battered and blue, but they've got to actually arrest me and pull me in for criminal charges. Now, here's the funny thing. Okay, I'm told you are under arrest. Anything that you say can be used against you, blah, 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 blah. Do you understand what I'm saying? I say he's cut his paint. They're laughing at me. Bruised. He's already been bathed. He's already been cleaned. You can't get it off. There's no smudgings of paint. He just looks like a battered child. You look at the other child, he's not that bad. If two children have been painting, in fact, I've got all of it off Elijah. So all of a sudden, mother is being held back by police, kicking and screaming because they ain't listening to reason and sense. Just like me over here when the police did it. And all I did is I held Elijah in this arm and my arm out like this. And I stood my ground, and I kept saying, just stop, just call through and just ask for Lauren Jerram. She's already assessed her, she's already been through it. They said they couldn't do this. And they're stepping into me, and their threat is to get my son out of my arms. Just like the mother on exposure, don't take my child. Don't forget, You know, Paul's wife, she's sitting there, she's got her baby in her arm like this. She's cradling her baby. She's got someone there, she's got someone there, she's got someone there, and they're coming for her child. And don't forget the picture that our Russian friend did for us of the mother sitting cradling her baby with all of the police and social around her. And I'm trying to tell them, but my baby's covered in paint. They're telling me that actually the baby's been screaming and you've beaten them. Now it's changed. Now I find myself in front of a justice of peace, and in front of this piece of paper it says, mother battered child. And there's the photographs. And I'm trying to tell the judge, but he's covered in paint, Your Honour. I have to be really careful because this brings some real raw, even though I'm not saying the same allegation against me, it's still raw to me, and this experience is still raw to every person here who's had a child taken through this way. But it's covered in paint. Now I'm sitting outside in a little room, and I've got all these photographs of all this live that I've done, and Amber's literally quickly copied all of the evidence and all of the lives that this is what's actually happening. But all of a sudden I've got a solicitor and a barrister in front of me, and I can't get to the judge, and if I do, I'm in contempt. But oh no, I've got the evidence, I've got the photographs right here. But it has to be submitted in a formal way. It has to go through a process. They have to prove that actually these photographs even come from my phone, that these lives are even mine, that I haven't just gone on and gone, children painted and screened a load of photographs. And even though I've got the evidence, just like I had my medical notes, just like I had all of the evidence that said me and my children had EDS, it had to come through a freedom of request. So now we're 5 months down the road, and during that 5 months' time, because it's a 26-week court process, a court process of 26 weeks that social workers and CAFCAF officers and solicitors and judges and barristers all have to obey and abide by certain steps and processes and fundamentals and foundations that they're obligated to abide by because they're paid a wages and they're subcontracted and contracted. Well, this keeps beating and this keeps overrunning, and your heart is racing like a fucking manic, and your head thudding, where are my kids, where are they going, what the fuck's going on? And you've got to get up in 5 days' time to go and appear in court. You've got to wait for them 5 days. In that time, the social worker's been to see your kids. You're already working out, can you track this woman? Is there a way of finding it? You're already sitting there on 111, Googling their names, going through all these things, working out where are your children, how are you, what's going on. You're having to run around to libraries and internets because, as for me and my personal circumstances, then I was hit with an eviction order at the moment my children were taken, just as I would be here. You know, or if you've got a job, you've just gone into work the next day because your kids have been taken, but you've got to still turn up to a job tomorrow because otherwise you can't keep the roof over your head to stand in front of the judge to say, yes, I have a home for my kids, Your Honour. And then your boss turns around and says you abused your child. What? Bang. And you've got to walk into court the next day with a black eye because the public decided to take you into action themselves, especially for the people out there like, you know, I can name somebody on here, you know, and he wants me to prove his innocence. So I will say Cornell was accused of sexual abuse to his child, who now sits with bars on his fucking window. But Your Honour, my child was painting. So in contempt of court, if you speak again, you're going to be held in contempt of court and thrown into jail. Thrown into jail for trying to tell the judge that my child was covered in paint, and the police officers accused me of beating my child. But Your Honour, I'm painting, I've got the evidence. Kelly, now you're standing there with 2 security guards beside you, and you're just trying to tell a judge that your children were painting. You've got the evidence, but you've got to put it through a process. And your barrister, actually, you ain't paid to even speak to him, honey, because he's only getting legal aid, mate, and he isn't even paid the amount of time that this is holding the court up, because they've only got 5 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. The judge had to go at me because I spoke for 40 minutes. 40 minutes, Your Honour, 40 minutes to try to explain to you nearly 40 years of a life. I was 35. There's a child inquiry. We need an investigation into these processes and steps. Because what they're doing is they're taking people like me and trying to freaking push them into a fucking little box. And then you've got to try to understand stress management. I'm sorry, Your Honour, I'm a little bit stressed that you've walked into my house with 2 police officers and 2 social workers and put them in a car and walked off. And I haven't known where my children have been since this day. In this day, I know that you crashed the car with my children to a complete and utter write-off. And that my daughter says that the penis, well, not the penis, but the snake doesn't hurt. I also have to deal with the fact that the living nightmares of my children screaming at me to just take them, and my son telling me that he's going to run away from the judge, while also dealing with the fact that I've got every other case going on, every other matter going on, everybody else's stories going on, knowing full well that as from tomorrow, this country wants to normalise paedophilia while I've got a daughter and a boy out there. Not under my wing. Mother Goose, that's what kids call me. I am Mother Goose. Every single neighbourhood kid has always called me Goosey, Mother Goose. My son calls me Mother Goose, hasn't called me it since he's been back, because I have been a goose. I'm just the snapping one right now, because these cunts have got my kids. Do you understand what that means? That doesn't mean that mum jets off on holiday and says, thanks for the free childcare and I'll see you when you're 18. Who do you think I am? Seriously, are you fucking mental? Faith, you touch this little girl, you will have to learn what fear and faith really is, and the point where it collides. Do you understand? This is my daughter. This is my angel. This is my little princess. Only a baby there. Loved, cared for, nurtured, protected. She ate avocados. She loved avocados. And I'm just to get over her. I'm just to get over Aaron. I'm just to say that it's okay, that these people can do this when I still sit here with the evidence, but I have to have £150,000 to walk into these courts to have my voice heard. But we can't even do that now, can we? Because to move paperwork means signing forms and releasing things, because I don't actually have legal access to my own paperwork, to my own straw man, to people's opinions that they can write about me. Where a social worker writes, Kelly is attractive in a street corner kind of way, do not believe her lies, when I was 15 and put me out on the streets. There's a man today who has very humbly, in tears, and just said, I'm hungry and I'm tired. That man has had to go to a real level to face a complete stranger and show that level of emotion, that level of vulnerability, and tell somebody that he is hungry and tired. When Dean ran away from foster care, he used to have to go through bins, and I'm going to put a video up when I get off tonight. It's a song, but if you watch the actual video, if I can find it, that very much reminds me of Dean's story, where there's a kid who's running away and then he goes into a squat and he finds his family, which was Spiral Tribe. So Google Spiral Tribe or 1994, Reclaim the Streets. If you see the kid stood there with his finger up, that's Ding. So, yeah, nobody should, in this world right now, should, I know they say in other countries and stuff, but come on, here in the Western world, for fuck's sake, like, we got to get our acts together, like, people, like, seriously, you want to just sit back and rely on Boris Johnson to sort this country out? That's like going into a garden and praying that God's going to sort the weeds out. Like, fucking seriously, sort it out. The only way you're going to get rid of them weeds is to get out there yourself and fucking pull them out. You can pray as much as you like, but the Lord might send you people to give you a hand, but you got to take that help when it comes, and he gracefully took that help. It might be my car, it might get me in a lot of trouble with Dean, but you know, I think Dean will understand. Like, he talks to him, he'll understand. Let's hope he doesn't walk past tonight and see someone in his car and might kill him, but he'll know that I've let him do it. I wish I could have locked the car for him now, to be honest, because he probably would have felt safer knowing that the police couldn't have opened it. And I have given him my name and just said, I'll keep your window open and stuff. But I'm more worried about his safety with the police than my safety with him. Do you know what I mean? And I worry about that with a lot of the people out on the streets, because it's an 18th century vagrant law that gets them moved, and we shouldn't be putting spikes on to stop people sleeping on benches. We should be opening up fields in places and communities for people with their backpacks to come and pitch their tent up and stuff, and get some good food and some good things. And actually, XR, please, guys, come on. You know, Gail, yeah, come on, let's do this. Let's get some official land and get some pictures up that people can put on their backpacks and come and find us. Get the X's up and come and find a base camp. Let's this summer take some fields and set some rigs up and have a festival. And let's not do it for the hippie clappies. Let's do it for the people on the streets and the people that work in the streets and the people that need to rest and get some food. They're tired and they're hungry. People are tired and hungry. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. We've got kids like this. And people are turned into food banks, and I can tell you every food drop. If you know anybody who is homeless in Bristol, by the way, I don't know if the Goose is there at the moment, but I would like to say a massive big thank you to the Goose, because if the Goose wasn't there, then I wouldn't have made it through the 6 weeks that I had on Bristol streets. I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have made it. So, and to the sports centre, who used to let me go and have a shower, thank you, and to the marketplace that used to let me leave my car that had no petrol in there, even though it was completely illegal, and originally I got a lot of tickets, but they let me go in the end. I did get woken up one night though. Me and Dean was there before we got arrested when we first ended up in Bristol. We got woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning by 2 police officers because the last time the windows were steaming, someone was getting raped. We were actually asleep, so hats off to them. But when Dean was arrested and detained because we had no ethics code, then so get BT lines in, guys, and if you've got spare rooms, then put yourself out there on my I've got a couple of different Facebook pages and stuff. So I've got one where you leave £1 in a phone box with a note to say call home, bail addresses, things like that. So I don't know if they've all moved over, but hopefully. So if you can offer a bail address to anybody, it just means that they get on tag while they're waiting for court, and you just need to have a BT line so the tag runs through. But it was so difficult. I had so many people out in the streets that would help us, but they didn't have BT lines, and if you haven't got a BT line, you can't be tagged. That was horrendous. Like, seriously, getting out on Christmas Eve and then getting there, and then his sister being all funny, and then on Boxing Day finding his bags at the door, and then he's trying to keep his tag to the door to make sure before we make this decision, because the alarm is going to go off. So then we're having to try to get down to the police station quick enough before all the alarms are kicking off, and go and speak to them about what's going on, and stand at the police station. And they were all right about it, but he was shit scared because he knew that they could take him back into prison until court day. And then he wanted to run. And you meet a lot of people on the streets that have ran because they're going to face prison for stuff that they haven't done, or, you know, you get women out there that, you know, they have been a fucking idiot. They have been, and I'm not saying it's right, but I'm sorry, you know, if a man loves you and he is trying to get through to silliness, and is trying to reason with you and get you to try to see from a different point of view, and he's telling you to shut up because you're going on, or he's trying to move around and stuff like that, and you get pushy with him and shove in. I've said it so many times, and then all of it, there's a difference. There's a difference between a man just going, shut the fuck up, to, you know, somebody who holds women in cupboards and gives them bits of food and doesn't let them out and keeps them chained to the kitchens. And I mean chained, it happens, like physical actual chains to that sink that can move, to a chair in the corner with no seat, but they have both for the toilet. You know, there's a difference. And these men are going to prison for this in comparison to men that do that. And women, you know, I understand why they go on the run. And then it's classed as DV and all of this, and actually they still love each other. They're just warring or arguing. And in this country, we have no, well, actually we do have in Portsmouth here, but we're working on it and we're pushing it and stuff, and it's called healthy relationships, but it's still from a perpetrator's point of view, and a perpetrator and a victim of DV are not allowed to have counselling together. Even Jeremy Kyle will not do it. If there's been DV in a relationship, they will not help you sit down. So then what do you do about the kids? If there's been a oops upside your head between a couple, and I'm not talking about, like, you know, you can watch as much as you like on narcissistic abuse and all of this. You're just being brainwashed, for fuck's sake. You're just being given lay psychologist opinion point of view of people who don't want to accept that they fucked up in a relationship and want to accuse a label to give them some form of sense and validation and understanding of what the fuck went on. And it's just wrong. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Some people have trust issues. Some people do. Some people are unfaithful. Some people fuck about. Some people getting in the wrong relationships. It just happens. So my son's coming through, so I'm going to be shooting off anyway. So am I keeping you up? So anyway, as I said, it's been a fucking challenging week. I haven't made it to do Monday Morning Motivation. I've still got the clothes to do. I've still got the bits to do. I'm not going to wake up to completely fresh fed tomorrow. I'm still going to wake up to the residual of yesterday and last week. So that means straight away I'm behind for you guys. So please, 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 please share out the children social care workforce inquiry. Please get your submissions in. Please ask people to get theirs in. I still haven't got a Word document. I can do bits in notes. I am doing bits on my recorder. Most of mine is all together, but I've just got to literally put it in a Word document and download it, because I've got all of my notes and all my things and everything done. It's just that it's got to go into a Word document. And also with the kids around, it's not so easy. And I don't do this sort of stuff very good at like stupid o'clock in the morning and all that sort of blather. So I'm just locking myself room to walk around. So yeah, so please get that out. It's 30th of August is the last day to get it in. if you've understood what I've been trying to say to you, and you understand the way it works in what I've been saying, the child covered in blue paint, to the police and social services point of view, to what looks like a bruised child, is in that 26 weeks, you have to, one, find yourself a lead. Don't forget, these people know each other. They all know each other. They work together. They know each other. You're coming in like that, and you've got to work with somebody who doesn't know you, they don't know anything about you, they've got to wait for paperwork, and they're dealing with a reaction of you. And it is very, very, very difficult for any mother, and even fathers, you know, but I'm talking from a maternal, in your stomach, into the arms, into the womb state. It's different. That is different from a mother and father. It is, whether you like it or not. Doesn't mean that one is a better, or in fact, actually, the kids would probably be better with Dean living here right now while I go off and do this and come back. You know, if you know, he can do that sort of stuff. But at the moment, I do need to deal with this because I have 7 kids, and I stand for all 7 of my kids. So, you know, it's, I'm a mum to 7, so I've got to be a better mum to this one. Feeling a bit of a rag cow, moody cow. It's only because I've got like 2 pairs of hands in a 5-bed, 1 bed with 5 people's things here, with, you know, Dean's trauma going on and mine going on and Liam's new career and stuff going on and this going on and everything going on, and everybody expects me to be perfect. Everybody expects me to be sane and happy and bubbly and everything all the time, and it's like, no. Like, no, I know what's going on here is wrong. What's going on in this country right now is wrong. And I'm not an angry person. I'm not. I'm a very peaceful person. I'm a very respectful person. But when people are completely crushing people, like for that man today, to you know, when you go to homeless kitchens, it takes you've got to spend a lot of time with someone for them to earn your trust, to talk to you about why they're there and what got them there. You know, just to say, you know, why are you there and what's your circumstances. It's not as easy as the questionnaires that psychologists give you, like, have you ever been through sexual abuse, you know, and all this sort of stuff. You know, there's real raw emotion behind this. Do you know what I mean? It's not as easy as 4 + 4, you know, and whatever. But it's you know, some people have been through some real hells and they need to talk, and they need someone to talk about it. Writing books is really good. Doing lives is really good, by the way. So if you're not used to lives and you don't really not sure whether to do lives, it could be a bit narcissistic. It could, people think, yeah, I've had it. It's the one show, Kelly Cotton show, and all this sort of stuff. Hey, so welcome to Kelly Cotton. You know, so but actually, to diary. But the problem with diarying is it just goes poof. So only you know what you've just written. So it still creates the same thing. By putting it out here and speaking the way that I do, somebody can relate to it. Or the problem is you can end up with a lot of people's opinions, but it can be really difficult. But you know, I need a lot of people's opinions because I want to go and talk to these people and talk from all of our points of views, not just mine. I want to be able to explain from other people's point of views, and I'm really good at doing that. So I'm very good at what I do. I am the world's greatest interventionist. They know it. I know it. They don't like it because I'm a woman. And I'm not willing to suit and boot. In fact, actually, if I go into a meeting, I'm going to go in like this. I'm going to have a red jacket on. I'm going to have one of Dean's t-shirts on. And let me see what I mean. Hang on. Can you see that? You probably all know it anyway, but I'm not hooked on all this stuff. But this is my favourite. I love this one. This is my favourite. In fact, it looks like my mate Chris. So I'm going to probably go into a meeting wearing me. Do you reckon they won't let me wear me roller skates in Parliament? Shall I try it? Shall I use it as my wheelchair theory. Headphones on. Oh, bless, I've got a banana in my pocket because he didn't eat bananas. I made him a little pack up. In fact, I'll show you something. In this drawer here, I've got, just before I go, I've given him a toothpaste. I have another one in here. And then I'll have a few different things for Jenny's and showers. Soaps. And then I'll show you my fridge. So I've got about 30 of these in here. Oh, Liam took a load out the other night though, so just some frozen. So I heated one up and left it with him in the car, do you know what I mean? What I wouldn't mind maybe doing is actually officially seeing if I can use that area and space. If I chose to stay here, I could, but it means going to war with the council to do some of this because this is a residential area. But, you know, come on, we're going to end up in FEMA camps soon if we don't get this shit together, do you know what I mean? The middle class ain't going to know what's going to hit them. I mean, you hear all these students coming through with their 40% pass rates. But anyway, didn't want his banana, so I'll put an apple and a banana. Most homeless can't eat the apples and things because of their teeth. If they've been long-term homeless, you've got to remember that a lot of them don't get to brush their teeth. So, and a lot of them have got toothache and can't get into dentists and stuff. So, pasta, they can just about sort of like not have to chew it, but still, but you've got to be careful about toilets and stuff because it's not easy to always be able to find a toilet or use a toilet when homeless. Anyway, I don't want to eat banana online because it's a bit dirty. I bet you he's absolutely out for the count. I don't feel like I've got to worry. My car keys here anyway. So anyway, I need a fundraiser, guys, because I want to be able to get this van, definitely get this van. And I want one of them hot water things, you know, proper big hot water things to be able to do hot drinks and things like that. And probably pitch it up just on that corner there because one, I can hear the kids from here at night time. And I want to be able to take it out on the road really, because I want to get around to all, get everybody's inquiries in and try and push this even further. And while we're on the road, I want to be able to literally put a tent up and then Dean with his decks and his DJ stuff and things, and then you know, chill, be able to have people just come and safely pitch up their tents and things like that. But and I'm quite happy with Elijah and Shino growing up with understanding this world. I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. And if anybody has a bit of an issue with that, then I suggest they take it up with Prince William and Prince Harry about how Princess Diana raised them, and they, you know, have witnessed Princess Diana gave them the best chance. I think Harry could make a really good king. I think Harry could make a really brilliant king. I think William should step back and maybe, I don't think they'd ever allow it. I think we need a whole new, you know, camaraderie and cavalry coming in and wiping the asses off this, to be honest. I do believe there is one coming. I believe they'll all be performing. In fact, I met somebody at the fireside the other day who called me the general. In fact, it was quite funny, but no, he just said that he feels that the army is forming and people are training and people are preparing. This is going to be the people kicking them out, just like they did it was in Mexico, wasn't it? I think it was in Mexico. Now the challenge with Mexico, they have ended up with a lot of quite high crime rates, but I think as people we can redesign the police uniform and rename it, and under the assembly, because we will get this assembly. This assembly is coming. It's wanted on both sides at the end of the day. So I can't eat my banana online because there's men out there that will freaking take photographs of me eating a fucking banana and wank over it. Do you know what I mean? So, and it happens, unfortunately, when you're alive in the public, you end up with idiots coming in telling you they want to fuck you and stuff, and you just learn to, I don't know, help them see the heroes of their ways. But unfortunately, we can't have these people fucking little kids now, can we? So well done to all the Sting Up guys, well done to the P5 Hunters, well done to every single person who's come in and joined into this, long on, that we don't all know each other anymore, the old and the new and all of this sort of stuff. So maybe if we could get everybody together for a festival, that would be really, really, really great. We can fundraise, have some fun, get to know each other, get to meet up and have lots of different training and lots of different stuff, because don't forget, guys, the rebellions and the revolutions are coming in October. So watch this space for October. It's coming whether you like it or not. So anyway, bring your water suits, because Boris Johnson's going to bring his cannons, and we're going to bring our swimsuits and our ships, and there'll be more than 5 this time. So I think maybe 7. What do you reckon? I don't know how many got taken. And we've got a few suicide rigs coming in. So I say we. I don't talk to anybody. I just talk live, and people choose to do what they want to do. I am not responsible for anybody. I am not part of anything. I don't own anything other than the Step Up Britain banner. So Step Up Britain banner is me. Forced Adoption Exposed is me. Halt the Adoption Drive is me. People Over Parties is me. Step Up USA is me. Branded as One Voice is me. A few others are me. But Extinction Rebellion is not me, but I do stand for us getting our acts together to clean this planet up. I do believe in climate change, but I believe in climate change in a very different way. This is the Book of Revelations, mate. The question is does the story end the way it does in the Book of Revelations, or do we get a chance to rewrite it and change the course of history forever and set a whole new platform for our youth and clear up a lot of shit from our previous generation and get our own home in order, and be free. So please, sovereign beings, please go be sovereign beings. You don't need to go to the court to be a sovereign being. You can go and do all that official thing. You were born a sovereign being. You don't have to ask permission to be a sovereign being. Yes, you can go to the courts and say that this is your land and this is your stuff and blah, 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 but it doesn't really matter. You are a sovereign being, born a sovereign being. Barter with people, meet with people. If you have a car, get in your car and go and decide where you want to be, just as I'm going to. I've got some stuff to do here first. I've got some stuff to do in the UK first. I will be going off to Europe and overseas shortly, but I need passports and stuff, and I also want to hang around before the borders go down. I don't want to be on that side of the borders, if you get me. I want to be on this side of the borders, because if I am going to have to do what I think I need to do, then I would rather be here and have a boat out and access to a few things. So I'm not crazy. I'm not mad. I know people like to think that I am, and I'm emotional. I'm very emotional indeed. And what's going on is very difficult. I'm not scripted. I haven't got a script here. I'm not coming on and recording this and doing videos and editing, and there is no editing. I'm not sitting here reading from a script that I wrote over the last 6 days to record for my live that I get really stressed over, which I don't. I just talk and speak and say what I want to say when I want to say it. And if you don't like it, then don't listen. But if you don't listen, don't prepare yourself for what's coming, and you don't, make these changes within yourself and within your local community, then chances are you're going to be like this man walking around having to tell somebody that you're very hungry and you're very tired. Are they going to help you tonight? You know what I mean? Are they going to give you a better rest? Are they going to reject you? Are they going to turn away from you? So that person who's on the streets, maybe it isn't their change that they want. They want system change. They're stuck there because of system change. They're stuck there. And yes, it is, I'm here, but Dean wouldn't have got this place. And I wouldn't have got this place. Yes, and it's not why we had Elijah, but yes, the fact that I was going through a complex pregnancy helped, but it doesn't mean it was the answer, because somebody else was actually sent away in exactly the same situation because they were classed as having to go back to their other area, and their baby died in the car. It was Bournemouth, I think. Their baby died in the car. We were lucky. So, but were we lucky? We're not lucky. So, I'm very, very, very grateful to our country. I'm very grateful to our Queen. I'm very grateful to the government that is now and has been. I'm not here to tear them down. I don't know them personally. I've never sat down and had a meal with Boris Johnson. I've not spoken to I've actually spoken to Boris Johnson, but I haven't actually. In fact, Boris Johnson knows me quite well, actually, because when it was it. In fact, actually, he has met me a few times. When was it? It was David Cameron, so it was a Conservative one. So I did the Conservative one in Manchester, and I think there was just me, and I managed to get a couple of mums from the Manchester protest to come down with me, and a bee. And then we went to the one this is in 2014, I think it was 2013, yeah, it was 2013, and then we went to the one in, I'm trying to figure where it is, Birmingham, that was it. And then of course there was me and Chris and a couple of fathers, so there was about 5 of us, and then we went to another one, and then it got bigger because we had the Wake Ups with us and a few other ones with us. So hopefully the general election, well, I know that's not until 2020, so we're stuck with these people until 2020. Do you really want to wait another 2 years? Seriously, do you want to wait another 2 years for another general election for them to just go through this whole system and vote and not actually do anything? So it's up to us, guys. It's up to us to open our cars and let people sleep in our cars overnight. What is it really going to hurt? If you've got a car and there's someone, look, I've got my keys. I've got my car key. He hasn't got my car key. And even if I did leave him my car key and he went off in it, I would be able to get it pulled up anywhere in this country. It would be found. And I would be insured or care less. I'm going to sleep in my car, it's a bit different. But at the end of the day, the man is getting some rest, he's getting some sleep. He isn't going to be throwing up in my car, he isn't going to be pissing and shitting in my car. He's going to wake up, he'll probably have a wee outside, and he's even said if he ends up sleeping through, please do, so he can get some food, because the food thing's on at 9 until 10. So other than that, then the food's not until certain days. Now, the John Pound Centre here does loads for the homeless. Like, the John Pound Centre does loads. But that's only a Tuesday on an evening. And then there's food banks at particular places. And there's probably stuff as well that goes on that that we don't know, because there's a lot of the Muslim community that do stuff. But what people tend to do is they tend to come out at Christmas and everybody comes out of the winter. But the problem is in the summer, it's really difficult being on the streets. It's really hot. So, you know, if you ever do have an extra bottle of water, or maybe if you've got one of these and you're just going out for the day, then please do just fill it up with some water, put it down and just put on the front of it, you know, for anybody who needs water. You know, if you're on the streets, whatever, please pick me up if you need water, whatever. If you've got some extra water bits, then please go outside your civic hall. A lot of them will amalgamate by their civic halls and stuff. And you know, leave some water down there, leave some bits down there, leave some fruit, veg, whatever. You know, help re-educate them back into where they need to go. Start sitting down and talking to them, understand your trauma, help them get that trauma out, help them, you know, really have somebody who might just listen for the first time. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I just think there's a lot that we could be doing right now, and it starts with where we are here right now. Safeguard yourself, of course, which is why I would like to get a camp, because at least on a camp we've got people monitoring and people making sure everybody's okay. Do you know what I mean? So, and if anyone causes any shit on in my camp, I need to deal with. So, I need some money, guys. So if you know anybody out there, and I need big wigs. I'm not even asking anybody to put. I'm not even talking about little money. I need big money. I need thousands. I need big money now. I need land, I need places, I need to create a safety net, and I want to basically create a whole new social services, but from us, and start giving people jobs and employment and things, and start getting funding in and stuff. But the funding isn't going to come from government, is it? So it's going to come from where you guys can help. So Claire, I'm going to pick on Claire. I'm going to ask Claire to come parachute jumping with me. So if I get a charity name up, which again is under our government, so do I need a charity name? Claire, you can come and jump anyway, because we're just going to fundraise for Families Reunite and Step Up Britain and all that sort of stuff. So it will be for short-term quick fixes, because like even now, you know, Claire spends a lot of time watching me, so Claire can start coming and helping out somewhere. I'm not quite sure where, but there is a service somewhere. I don't know who works, who doesn't work, but if I teach you how to, you know, self stuff, so I'm going to do it. So as soon as these t-shirts are out properly, it's just that at the moment I need 10 sales to do stuff. By buying these, then you help keep this work going. Do you know what I mean? And I do work really hard, and I do stuff that you guys don't really know about. And I sometimes chat to people, and we'll go and speak to people, or quickly pop out, because I want to just make sure that Alan's got a meal that night. There's a lot of people who do help people out, like the cats down here get very fed, because a lot of people don't think they get fed, but actually there's a lot of people feeding them. But the people who don't have the guts to say, I'm hungry and I'm tired, he hasn't done the streets long enough. So there's a difference in sofa surfing and knowing that you've got your friends and family, but eventually it outweighs, and people don't understand that unless you've got an address to get your ID sent to your missus's, ex-missus, they'll fucker for it. They'll throw out your men's paperwork, everything. And men are very ordered, by the way. They'll have all their passport and birth certificates and all that stuff very methodic in orders, and it will probably just be in an envelope. And then women just tend to throw this out, and then men then can't get the ID, and then they live on the streets and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I have a feeling I'd like to go and do something down on Southsea Common. So if anybody would like to come to Southsea Common and help me try to get a table, and I need the family reunited. All my shoulders just went on. I want all the branding and everything done, and I want to start finding out now about how I can, you know, trace people down and get some private people working to find people and track people down. I'm going to try and get hold of the old Jeremy Kyle team if they can see what they're doing now, because they used to do a lot of that. and try and build from there, I think. And hopefully one day I'll get a payday, or I'll get a bit of money that sees me through. Luckily Dean sent 35 quid the other day, and he's hopefully got some work this week. So as long as he can keep some work going, but he's not focused on his album in the studio. But if Dean can keep working at the moment, just to make sure that I can keep going, I mean, it's the boys, but as long as I haven't got to worry about the boys and just worry about myself, then and Liam, who can sort himself out, then that's fine. But he's having to be on the streets like this man. Hopefully, someone might have opened a shed to Dean, or I know he stayed on people's sofas. I know it tends to be people from the streets who've got a home or a hostel or a one bedroom that tend to sort of help out and stuff. Or so we need help from the mums that I once sort of knew. I need help from the mums that go to David Lloyd Gym and Virgin Gym, and I need the first class flyers and stuff. So we need to be doing balls and festivals and stuff. So just remember, we're the charity case right now. But I want us to be more than that. I want us to grow as individuals and people that are not, I'm not your guru, I'm not your leader, I'm not your whatever. I just want you to take back your heart and mind. Integrity intact. It's amazing what people can do. It's a fucking banana. But to other people, this is not a banana. Oh, it's my kids. So anyway, I gotta go, guys. Bye. I'll still